Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Autobot Hound with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers 4 Age of Extinction Voyager class Autobot Hound. And honestly, based on the way this guy looks, I would not be surprised if Hasbro, in terms of their toy, are calling him Hound, whereas in the movie, he's called Bulkhead. There have been times previously where the names have gotten switched around when you compare the toy to what appeared on screen, such as Q or Wheeljack or Brawl, Devastator. I mean, there's a whole bunch of precedents for that kind of screwed up name sort of thing. So we're going by this, and it says it's Hound, although he really does remind me of Bulkhead. Again, very nice packaging with the open window here where you can see the figure in his robot mode. It is very interesting that a lot of these figures are now coming in robot mode. They're not coming in vehicle mode, which is strange. And then you got a nice image of Hound right here, kind of wrapping around to the side. You got the nice Transformer logo there. Come around into the bottom, and you can see that it's an authentic Transformer, so it's silly. Come around here to the back, you have his very large military vehicle. It says Oshkosh. I thought that was a brand of clothes, but okay. But it is some kind of military vehicle, and then you have his robot mode, and it says Autobot Hound might only be a simple soldier, but he prides himself on being able to do the job of 10. Whether the objective is a tactical deployment, recon mission, or infiltration and sabotage, Hound can get the job done. Heavily armored, he isn't about to back down from an all-out firefight if one comes his way. Some bots might see that versatility as showing off. To Hound, it's all in the line of duty. And I like that. Some of his bio does seem to homage Hound being like a recon person in infiltration and sabotage. That is really cool. I do like that. And then you come down here to the bottom and you have the Voyager class Galvatron also available. Overall, really nice packaging. I do like the new look for him. And honestly, this guy looks pretty good. Unlike Galvatron that seemed to lack some paint applications, this guy looks pretty decent, I think. What I find absolutely hilarious is that he, instead of a cigar or a stogie, he appears to be having a bullet in his mouth, which is hilarious. I don't see that on the actual figure, but that's funny. But beyond that, that's about it for the packaging. So let's get this guy open and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Hound open up and out of his packaging. And as you can see, obviously in his vehicle mode. Now, a lot of people are already giving this guy the label of being the best Voyager that we've gotten with the Age of Extinction line. Or I should say, one of the best. And I do agree with that. He is one of the best that we've gotten. But one of the biggest problems that I have with it is here in vehicle mode. His vehicle mode is really very tiny. These military transport vehicles are very large, way bigger than flat-nosed cabs, and even the Galvatron figure, which is like an Argosy Freightliner or something. It's a great looking mold. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot that's really very good about this. I mean, as you can see, all of his weapons, for one, store here very nicely in his truck mode thing. But he's small. For me, I really would have been much happier if this was leader class in size of the vehicle mode. Just real quick, doing the size comparisons. Here he is, and here you have him next to Optimus Prime and Galvatron here in their vehicle modes. And as you can see, I mean, it's just a big difference. I mean, this guy is really small by comparison. I mean, a flat-nosed truck should not tower over this Oshkosh thingamajigger. I mean, it's just really huge, the difference. And then when you look at Galvatron, which is a pretty big truck anyhow, again, it just really does dwarf this guy. And all of them are Voyager figures. But that really is probably the biggest downfall about this in terms of his vehicle form. Otherwise, it looks really nice. Like I said, all the weapons, every single one of them that he comes with stores very nicely. You do have, I mean, I don't know, they don't actually show where his knife is supposed to go, but you got a hole here, you got a hole here. You can't come around here to the bottom, and you got holes on the insides of the legs, but I don't know, I guess if you really wanted to, you could put him in there. You got to push him in really deep to get clearance for the actual tires. It can work, and if you don't want it hanging out here in vehicle mode, you can put it there as well. Got a very nice Autobot logo there. I love the small extra little details. Like, for example, he's got a completely useless tire here in the middle section here. It's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can come in and zoom in a bit so that you can actually see that a little bit better. I mean, that is really cool. That's something that they really don't need to include, but they did. And I really do dig that. But there you have the Autobot logo. Like I said, you got all the weapons hanging out. You come around here to the front, you do have the Oshkosh logo right there in the front. It's kind of hard to see, mostly because my camera wants to be a pain in the butt, but you can see that. You got some nice paint here for like the headlights. You got some lights here that are painted. This whole section up here across the top and then around here, this is all soft rubber. It kind of stays in place. It doesn't really do much of anything, but it is something that you probably want to be careful with and not really move, because you can see it does wiggle a little bit there, so that kind of stinks. Coming back just so you can see the full thing, you got another Autobot logo there on that side as well, but some real nice molded detail. You got the hatch up here. I mean, you can take these weapons off and they have nice molding along the side here, which give it this, like I said, transport sort of look. You got this bit right here, which is this, I think, like an exhaust, honestly. But I mean, overall, very nice looking vehicle mode. I just wish it was bigger. And then, like I said, you can take that weapon off. You can take this weapon if you don't want to have these on here. I don't know why you wouldn't want to. I mean, it's all perfectly functional, but you got some really nice molding, like I said, here on the side bits here, giving it kind of like a tanker sort of look to it, but really very nice. I do absolutely dig him. I guess you got the exhaust here. I really don't know what that's going to be, but you got that right there. I mean, it really nicely resembles the actual truck that this is based off of. Now, the Transformer, if you haven't taken all the weapons off, go ahead and do that now. Just get those out of the way. This is just a little bit hard to get to. And this one's, his knife is actually a nice silver paint. I was really surprised. His other guns, you can see down here, they store down in the legs in robot mode, and you can leave them there for his actual truck mode as well. So that's really nice. Come around here to the back. I just separate these, kind of separate that, kind of bring these down, just loosen them up. I knock this gun out, but I'll just set that off to the side for right now. Then just take these, split this apart just like that, rotate these around, just getting them out of the way. Then take this section here, you want to bring this up, rotate that down, and then you can bring that flush across the top just like so. Come around here to the legs. Let's see, bring this section out, or not the legs, the bottom of them. This is his head. You're going to rotate this down, and then when you bring this up, you got this little nub right here that you bring that up, and then you got this groove section right here that you bring this down, and that kind of locks it into place. Keep it just like so. Bring these arms up like that, and then you got a little clip right here on the side of his green bit that's going to clip in to this hard plastic side view mirrors. You just bring that up, give that a nice little squeeze, give that a nice little squeeze, bring that into place like so. Take these wheels, collapse those in, then take this whole section, accordion this back, and then slot this down just like so. Take his feet here, rotate that down. Here you have his legs done. Then just take these arms, detach this from the inside here, do that there. Then you can rotate these all the way down, and then rotate them around at the upper part of the bicep. Do that here as well. Do that, rotate that around, straighten out his feet, give him a nice dynamic pose, and very simply, there you have Hound in his robot mode. This is where you really get an immediate impression that this guy looks like Bulkhead. Now, in the actual trailer, he looks a little bit chunkier, so the toy is different, but absolutely cool nonetheless. One of the neatest things is that right here on the forearms, he's got, well, bullets that are his forearm. They're softer rubber. They aren't the same color that we saw in the package. I don't really think there's a way that you can paint that to give it the accurate look, but it's very cool nonetheless. When you look down here at the bottom, he does have a solid plastic piece for his forearm, so these rubber bits are on the outside. I am kind of concerned over the longevity of these. Hopefully it lasts fairly long, but it looks great on the figure. He also does have a soft rubber front of his head. It's strange. He's got a black beard and a silver painted face, but again, it's a soft rubber on here, so I really have no clue why they would choose to do that, other than maybe swapping that out at some point in time with another figure to give us a new character, I guess, with this same body. But it's strange, but it is very cool looking. I really dig it. Zooming in so we can take a closer look at his face. I mean, like I said, you got his rubber beard right there, which I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm not sure how well it's going to last over time, so that makes me concerned, but that is a really cool face sculpt. And then he's got a little Autobot logo here in the abdomen area, but just staying zoomed in, I mean, a lot of really cool detail. Like I said, you got some nice paint up here. You got his forearms where you can see that looks like bullets, very large bullets, but that's, I guess, what you would expect in this guy. But some real good detail all the way throughout, and some nice paint on there. But the face is just probably one of my favorite looking. And you can see that he does have a fair amount of paint going through there. I mean, you do have that gray plastic, but you got some nice silver down here, like on his shins. You got some nice silver and red here painted in the middle. You got some paint applied here on his shoulders. And you got these giant things that are painted gold. So, I mean, he does have a lot more paint on him than, say, Galvatron did, which is a huge bonus for this guy. Now, as I said, all of his guns can store in both modes, including his robot mode. The handguns here, they just kind of peg in here. You got a little notch right under there that you just put this down, line this up, kind of push that in there. You can have this here as well. He's just absolutely loaded with weapons. I mean, Ironhide would be very proud of this guy. Stick that in just like so. And now you have all of his guns stored on his body, and he is a walking armory. Simply a cool looking figure. And I mean, all of his guns, obviously, he can't hold. You do have to be a little bit more careful with, well, actually, I should probably tuck that around here. These are kind of small tabs, so you have to make sure that those are pushed all the way in, but he can hold it fairly well, and he can hold his gun. And I mean, how cool is that? I mean, it really is very impressive. I didn't expect to like him as much as I do, but the guy is just, something about him just screams powerful. Now, for his articulation, he is loaded with it. Everything works very nicely. The head is on just a swivel, so it goes left and right. The shoulders here move in and out. They're not on ball joints. Nah, they're not on ball joints. They just move in and out. They move all the way around. They rotate at the upper part of the bicep. They actually rotate down here as well, and you can see when you do it, it does move that forearm around a little bit, which is kind of cool. He does have two elbow joints, basically. Now, you do have this outer cover covering his hand, but I don't think it looks all that bad, because at least it's molded in the contour of the outside of his hand. So that's not too bad. He does rotate at the waist. He moves forward and back at the hips, but it does get a little bit limited when you come around here. I'm going to get these all out of the way. You can see that this part here on his waist area doesn't allow him to go back too terribly far, but you can move it in and out, which is real nice. Rotates at the upper part of the thigh here, bends here at the knee, and then the feet pivot from the side, but don't go forward and back. So you can get some wider poses with them, which really helps to give them a very cool dynamic look, especially with all these guns. And taking these off, just getting them out of the way. These on the inside here, like I said, I mean, they don't stay in all that well. I mean, they peg in there, but if you bump them, they pop out very easily. So when you're transforming him back into his vehicle mode, you do want to be careful of that, especially if you want to keep those there stored when you're going to keep him in his vehicle mode. But I mean, all these guns just down here, and like I said, you got the, I guess, rifle or something that both of them fold out. And the other cool thing is all these guns can also combine. So if you want to do that, you first take these little handguns by themselves. They tab together right barrel to barrel, basically. Then you want to take the Bowie knife, stick that in the other barrel like so. Take this, make sure that this is properly lined up down there. It likes sliding up every now and then, which can kind of be annoying, but it's not too bad. Then just take this. You got the 2 holes right up here that now peg in right there. Get that lined up. Give that a nice little squeeze. Push that in there just like so. You can then take these guns, fold these in, fold these in, and then you have 2 slots here that go on right there, and then you come around to the other side and right there. Now you can extend it even more, get that all the way in there, if you use these guns on the inside of his legs by taking these and pegging them into the middle barrel of those side guns. So doing so, I mean, look at this, is insane. This is his gun. I mean, this is insanely cool looking, and honestly does really remind me of what a lot of third parties do by having their guns all combined into one big giant one. I think they do that very nicely with this. So kudos to Hasbro for taking something that third-party companies have been doing fairly successfully and doing it themselves fairly successfully. And then for a size comparison, here you have him next to the Voyager class Galvatron as well as the Voyager class Invasion Optimus Prime. And as you can see, he's pretty small by comparison to these 2 guys. So even in his robot mode, that small size still kind of carries through that his vehicle mode started. But honestly, I don't think it looks all that bad. I kind of like Hound being a shorter, squat, bulky kind of guy. Now for his transformation, you can just take the wheels or the feet and just spin those around like so. Then bring this whole section around and then rotate. And you're going to tab these arms. You got this panel here. You're going to tab it in there. Just line that up. Give that a nice little push. Do that as well on this side. Rotate the arms up. Rotate them around. And then just line them up and slot them together just like so. Then bring this whole section. You got to detach this from his torso bit. So do that on both sides. Pull that apart. Kind of just bring these down. Leave them hanging off to the side. Take the tires here that are folded in the back. Rotate these out. Lock those into place. And then detach his head from the little nub up there. And rotate this around. Kind of angle this. And then tuck this up underneath just like so. Come around to the torso bit. You want to take this, lift it up, and then accordion it forward and make sure you push it all the way so it's now kind of like this basically. You can bring these legs together. It might help if you bring the 2 halves together. For me, it usually ends up getting detached anyhow, so it's almost pointless to do that. But swivel these around. Swivel this around, make sure you have everything lined up. Then you're actually not going to bring that all the way in just yet. You want to take this top section, fold this, and then fold this out, and then bring this down because these actually fold over the actual canopy, I guess. So you're bringing this and sliding that in just like so, and you're seeing it come together. Make sure that you keep that pushed up. Line these tab sections here with his hands together, kind of put that together. Bring that up, slot that in there, give that a nice little squeeze. Do that on this side as well. Slot that in, bring this down, squeeze that together, give everything a nice little push. Make sure you have, like I said, this torso bit here pushed all the way up so that you get it actually laying flush. And basically, giving everything little squeezes and stuff, you have Hound back in his military transport mode. And then, like I said, you can take this gun if you want to, and you can put it back on here, but I'm just going to set that off to the side for right there, or put him behind him so you don't get too confused. But honestly, I really do like this figure. I think the size is a little bit off on him, but I think it works fairly well. Now, in terms of a character, we don't really know much about Hound other than John Goodman is voicing him, which is pretty awesome just by itself, but from what we've seen in the trailer, he looks like he's a little bit more bulky. But really, I do like the figure. It's definitely in my tops, just below Evasion Mode Optimus Prime. But Hound here is really cool. Despite his small size, I think he comes across very nicely. And even though in his vehicle mode here, he doesn't have a lot of paint applications, robot mode, though, it does work nicely. So without a shadow of a doubt, I would recommend picking this guy up all day long. And if you are interested in getting him, go ahead and click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to Big Bad Toy Store where you can pick this guy up and add him to your collection today. But beyond that, that's about it, guys. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Keep in touch with me, find out recent purchases as well as all upcoming video reviews all at facebook.com/teambotimus and by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/optibotimus. Also, don't forget to check out my new website at optibotimusreviews.com, where you can check out all my videos from the previous week as well as see what I have coming up for future release. And please, if you like this review, don't forget to rate, comment, and share this video. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.